O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogan's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. How you doing? Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hope you're feeling good. We got the background all changed up now a little bit. We added some stuff. You can take the billboard off there if you can, Sean, so folks can take a look. Yep, there we go. So now we're back. I keep looking up this way where the camera used to be. Now I got to keep looking this way because I got a new camera. Okay. Although the 4K one was like twice the price, so I didn't go 4K. It is a 1080p. So we got a new camera, Sean, and I don't even know if it's really the camera. It might be that, it's the computer. So who knows? I may have to change the tower or whatever, but the camera was really old. So we had to change it. So I changed it. And then at the same time, I, wasn't happy with everything. So we dressed everything up, and there's more things and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we did. We kind of switched things up. Although I'm not happy here. I gotta find a spot right there. I gotta find like a little square. I gotta fill that square over there. That's about it. It's the only thing. But everything else, a lot of it was already there, but we added a little bit more to it. So there you go. Anyway, good morning to all. Please smash the hell out of the like button. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today, David Furones will join us. We'll have Ira tomorrow. And then obviously we'll do what we normally do on Friday with the fellas and have some fun. Hope you had a good weekend. Obviously, Memorial Day, Memorial Weekend. I know most people it's about vacation, but obviously we got to thank the people that served, like my dad, like Sean. And obviously they're the reasons why we get to have a long weekend, get to enjoy our freedoms, get to, cruise around and do whatever we want pretty much in this crazy world. So that's the reason why. So I hope you guys at least took some time to honor them too at the same time. Let's see. What else do we have going on? I mean, weekend-wise, obviously, we thought the Panthers would end it last night after their performance on Saturday. And then last night, the Hurricanes showed up, and the Panthers just did not get it done. They had a couple of guys step in. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm going to say Carolina outplayed them. And it seemed like it just seemed like they were kind of out of sorts a little bit. They weren't themselves. Let's just put it that way. That's what I'm going to say. The chemistry wasn't there. There were moments where they weren't handling the puck the right way. There were times like I know even with Barkov, especially a couple of times, but there were a couple of other players that kind of waited a little too long to pull the trigger and get a shot off on Anderson. So, it was just kind of one of those things where, maybe they're confident as hell at this point. They've dominated this team. I get it. You're not as sharp. And so, this thing happens. But I don't think any of us should sit here spoiled and think, oh, damn it, we should be mad at them for not sweeping. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, come on, man. You know, they're pretty damn great. And so, okay, they had an off night. They didn't play well. Maybe they weren't as sharp. Whatever. Carolina was. They wanted to not get swept, so they found a way to win the game. And that's it, man. It happens. You know, hit the post. What was it, twice yesterday? I mean, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, here's what I'll tell you. The last 4 road games, they outscored Toronto and Carolina 22-4. So this kind of rattles their cage. If they take care of business tomorrow, we move on, and you know, that's all. So let's just hope that Dallas wins the next one and ties it up at 2-2 and makes it a 3-game series, and then they just continue to play on. It is what it is. It doesn't sound like the injuries are serious enough to keep them out, you know, for the Stanley Cup Finals or anything. I think they thought they could finish him out without him, and they wanted to give him some rest. And now tomorrow, I would imagine 2 of the 3 return and not Rhino. That's what I think. That's my prediction. Save Rhino for the Stanley Cup Finals. That's what would make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? But they definitely weren't sharp yesterday. They definitely weren't on point yesterday. That's for sure. That is for sure. Ooh, by the way. Ridiculous. I didn't turn on the Eiffel Tower. Come on, man. Got to turn on the Eiffel Tower. I mean, Jesus Christ. Open back up the billboard. See where we at? There we go. So just so you'll know some of the things, tell me some of the things you guys now noticed that wasn't there before. What is it that you guys notice that wasn't there before? Because there's a lot of you that tune in all the time. So start telling me stuff that wasn't there and now is on the walls or here. Okay? So you tell me, because I want to see how sharp some of you are out there. Corso, by the way, thank you. I keep looking up. Thank you for the. I've been looking up for almost 5 years, man. Thank you, Corso, for the super chat, sir. He says, happy birthday to my mommy. She's 74 today. Yes, I said my mommy. Well, she's always your mommy. But you got to give me a name, bro. So, you know, we can like, okay, Mother Travin. Mother Travin, happy birthday. Okay, there we go. I'll go with that. Happy birthday to Mother Travin. What do we got here on the chat board? NorCal is number 1 in. Dolphin Dave, One-Eyed Jack. Some of these are probably from yesterday because they probably thought I was on Monday. NorCal, short work week. Yes, sir. Jay Gelfin. Yeah, missing 3 starters last night didn't help. Yes, I definitely let's look it up. I definitely agree, Jay. I got to get used to it. What else do we have? Cosa Nostra. Adam Pinkser says not discouraged by the Panthers' loss last night. The Hurricanes seem to force the Cats into playing an ugly style of hockey. Well, that's who they are. Adam, they don't have the Panthers' offense. If they don't muck it up and keep it a low-scoring game, and their goalie has to be on his head, there's no way they can hang with the Panthers. They just do not have the firepower of the Panthers, you know, and so they have to play that way. That's the only way they stand the chance to make it a game, much less a series, you know. So yesterday they were able to make it a game, and Panthers didn't come in sharp. But if they come in like they're normally sharp, then, you know, they'll end up winning the game easily. But yesterday they were not sharp. They weren't sharp at all. Jeff in Long Island. Giovanni, Cats look disinterested. I don't know about disinterested, but yeah, they weren't as sharp, I'm going to say. They're too professional to just but yeah, I can see where you come in a little overconfident and, but I won't say that it's not we're going to just fold and, hey, let's extend the series. I just think they wanted to win, but that real desire, that edge wasn't there because they have dominated and kicked this team's ass. So it's hard, man. It's hard to sweep teams, and Carolina's a good team. And plus, that's all they hear. Last time you played them, they got swept a couple years ago. Carolina can't win at all. They get to this point, they shit the bed. That's all they hear. Because that's what's been going on with them for years. So they were trying to fight that demon too. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of things that they were fighting. The Panthers, they're not fighting anything. They're fighting themselves, basically. It's tough. Juan Rosa says, after all the hurricanes became a tropical depression, hope they end this before the storm picks up. Be fine. It's just a game. I think they'll be fine. I think the game wakes the Panthers up, and now the coach has all the film, and he gets to hammer his team, and he gets to tell them about why you're screwing up, and you see you let up, and look, you made this mistake, and you made that mistake, and the wrong pass there, and you were hesitant here, and that's what's going to happen, And the breakaway, and Bob gave up the goal, and he was pissed, and all that kind of shit. It's good. It's good. They get the cage rattled a little bit. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. They're deep. I'm not really worried about it. Let's see. Juan Mendoza. Now that we let the Canadians win a game, does that mean we're getting reverse swept? Let's see. Fernando Perez, not worried. John Esslinger. Derek. Thank you, Derek. Skyler. What else? Big Johnson, good morning to you. Alexis Palenzuela. Let's see. NorCal says, I see the NorCal Dolphin Club sticker. Oh, no, Marino Kozar? That's been there. The Marino Kozar was there forever. That's not new. The Marino Kozar is definitely not new. That is old. Pantera Bander. You mean the Panthers? The Panthers? Yeah, not this one. That's old. That one is new. That's the new one. That is old. It's hard to do it reversed. You're just like, anyway. What else? The hat is old. And by the way, we're at 110,000. I saw 110,200. We're at 110,215. So do we go 111? Going 111, 111. Do we go 112, 112, 113, 113? We're going we're breaking records today. The fools today all got back and started investing because Trump said, we'll delay the tariffs. Eventually, all those tariffs will come down. It'll be no more than 10%. He knows it. He can't do anything else. This is all just bluster. Don't fall for it. Every time he puts on some tariff, everybody pulls their money. And then when he says, they put it all back. And today the market is up. How much? How much is the market up today? 400 points. It's like amateur hour in investing right now. Stocks, crypto, Bitcoin, it's amateur hour. It just is. Instead of not listening to all the crap that is said from one week to another, because it all reverses, if you notice. So stop doing that. Just buy the dips. Every time he scares the entire market in the world with some threat and they dump, that's when you buy. That's it. Whatever stock you like, whatever crypto you like, Bitcoin, whatever you believe in. And I'm not a financial advisor, but it just seems like there's a lot of stupid traders right now. That's what I see. So you're going to sell your NVIDIA to then buy it again, more expensive later. You're going to sell whatever, your Amazon stock, your Apple stock. Oh, Apple's not as invested in AI. Well, guess what? They have billions in their reserves sitting. I'm sure they're getting their asses in gear to do it. And eventually it'll bounce. So, whatever. And I don't own Apple, and I own Microsoft, and I don't own Amazon, but the big seven is the big seven. I see a lot of stupid traders right now is what I see. And then the smart traders are probably sitting back going, you idiots, thank you. You idiot, thank you. And they just scoop it up cheaper when you panic and sell. So, that's just me. I'm just telling you, I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch. You do whatever the hell you want. But, man, I just see a lot of stupid trading out there. Holy shit. What else do we have? Orange can striker banner. No, the striker banner was already there. That striker banner is new. You got to take off that striker banner is new. Not that one, but that one is. You are correct. Okay. That one you are correct. What else? I agree, Big Johnson. The adversity is awesome. It's good. Stanley Panther plushie. No, he was there with the Devo hat. What's it called? Dougie Fresh and Victoria, who listen all the time and been supporters of our platform from day one. They live in Pensacola. They sent me the Devo hat, which rest in peace, Bill. And so we put it on Stanley C. Panther years ago. So, yeah, that's been there for a while. Obviously, if I mentioned that Bill was the producer at that time. So, yeah. What else do we have? Where's my fusion stuff? That's a great effing question. I don't know what fusion thing I have. I have a bunch of shirts and jerseys. I got to have some kind of banner or something somewhere stashed. Shit, I worked for them from beginning to end. So I got all kinds of shit. I got to look for it. I got to look. You know what I don't have? I don't have Fort Lauderdale United. Because I have a Fort Lauderdale United hat. I have 2 shirts. But I have no, stuff that I can hang with their logo. That I do need to add because they're local. So I do have, most of the local stuff. So, yeah. What else it is? But I do got to get Fusion. That's a good call, Kosa. I got to get something from the Miami Fusion. I have some great memories from there. We had a shitty owner, but, man, there were a lot of good people covering and working, and it just had a really good time. That team was fun, and Ray Hudson was so awesome, and Hamilton, Mr. Hamilton, who passed away. Wow, yeah, great people, man. That was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Magnus, good morning to you. Brian Landis, Pat in Asheville, Panther toy beside. No. He was there. He was there. He was there. What else? What else? Where's Alarmo? Alarmo comes back in the football season. That's when he comes back to hang out on the perch. Sloman's is. We're always protected with Sloman's. We're always being, what's it called? Protected and overviewed by, they do service our home, Sean's home. So yes, definitely. What else? Corso, thank you for another super chat, sir. Appreciate you. The Big O show sign is new. Somebody noticed it. Wow. Took you, because I have to move my head. So what it was is I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. Okay. And Iron Maiden is here. You'll see it there somewhere if you look for it. And so the thing was, you can make something in the Iron Maiden letters. So then we made that. In between the Finns UK Nation and the Worldwide Dolphin Club, right in the middle, in the Iron Maiden letters, Big O Radio Show. Very good. Very good. Because you got to notice it whenever I move. So, very good. Very good. Very good. Yes. Yeah, there's a TIE fighter. There's a stormtrooper helmet. You can't see it. There's a Jedi fighter helmet also. Then behind it is Ed Force One, which is Iron Maiden's plane. Behind that is an X-wing fighter, and behind that is the Millennium Falcon. Okay, I'm not going to move the camera for that. Although, Sean, send me a link. I can do that. I can actually do that. That I can do. If Sean sends me a link, then I can move the camera to upstairs so you guys can see it for a second there. Okay. So that's what we'll do. I'll see it now if Sean sends it to me. Let's see. Oh, there we go. You haven't sent it yet. Okay. Or at least I haven't gotten it yet. But anyway, what else do we have? The Tiger Panther besides Merino. Okay, yeah, no, I read that already. All I have from Fusion is my jersey MO. I have something, Jay, somewhere. I got to have something from the Fusion I can hang there. It's got to be something. It's got to be the shoes, money. Let's see. AVAX or Soul. I own both. I've been talking about Avalanche since it was down in the $9-10 range. Solana, obviously. I didn't get on Solana as early. It took me a while, and then I took advantage of the dip. But with Solana, it's one of those where I went in, but I'm still nervous about Solana because it has all the issues with the network and stuff. So yeah. All right. Oh, wait a minute. So how do I reverse it? How do I reverse this, Sean? Oh, wait a minute. Do I have to do it before I turn this camera on?
Yeah, you gotta go into settings and adjust it to be I don't know if it's rear facing or front facing, whichever one it is.
Okay.
On the settings, it'll give you like 3 options.
Okay. So I should have it now. Yes. Yes. I think. Let me see. You're not, right? What are you seeing there? Are you seeing me? Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's your face.
So then I got to go like this.
Yeah, I see it there.
Okay.
All right, hold on, bringing it up. Mute the mic.
Huh? No, don't put the mic on.
You're good.
So can you guys see there? See? There's the helmets. My daughter, by the way, builds the helmets for me because there's no effing way I can build those Lego helmets. And then the TIE Fighter, and then there's the Iron Maiden, there's the X-Wing, and then there's the... There you go. All right, Sean, you can cancel it. Oh, by the way, there's my Julius Irving 6-foot poster. All right, go ahead. There we go. So there's a little insight to it all. Sometimes I tell you guys about my 6-foot what's it called, Dr. J poster, and so I don't know if you saw it there. Were they able to see it? Okay, all right, good. There you go. And where is Bitcoin, by the way? Still at 110,000, even. We're just farting around 110,000 now. Remember we used to talk about like, oh, it's trying to break 24. Oh, it's trying to get past 30. Oh, it's struggling to get past 36 and 40, 50 and 70 and 90. Now we're screwing around 110. Okay. Now I told you it would be at 100,000 when we were down, whatever, in 30,000, 40,000 range or whatever. I say, hey, bro, we're going to be at 100,000 by the end of 2024. And we hit it. Okay. In a couple of years, when this 10X is from here, if I tell you it's going to be over $1 million by 2030, well over $1 million, but easily $1 million, you're 10Xing almost from here. Almost, because it's at 110. 9Xing, let's say. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. And in a few years, I'll tell you, hey, remember when I told you it was going to 9X and it was going to be over $1 million? Remember when I told you it was 16,000 and I told you to keep believing it'll be 100 and it's going to continue? Okay. Finite. There's only so much. It's like I tell a buddy of mine all the time. Oh my God, do I buy now? Keep buying whenever you can buy. Don't worry about the price because it's going to soar. So wherever you bought it is going to be a joke. Doesn't matter. Don't try to time it. Put time into it. And that's it. So, especially Bitcoin. Anyway, by the way, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. The amazing Ho Yoon. Thank you, sir. He sends in his very generous donation every week. And he just put simply, have a great day. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. People like that is the reason why we also survive right there. Thank you, Ho Yoon. Appreciate you, man, big time. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation there on Venmo, which is a beautiful thing. So whatever kind of donation you want to make, we always appreciate it. And those of you out of the country, you can make a donation through PayPal. And we appreciate that immensely. Show them the QR code to that also, Sean Stanley, sir. Let's see. What do we have here? Thanks, Big O, for Saturday night show. Yes, sir. If they would have won last night, I would have come on last night. But I wasn't going to come on for a loss. I said, I'll wait for the morning. We don't need to go over a meaningless loss is the way I look at it. You'll get through it. You'll eliminate them tomorrow and you'll move on. So, but thank you for supporting us on Saturday night. Remember, hit the notification bell because that tells you whenever we go live. Okay? That's it. We're not podcasters. The show is podcasted, but it's a live YouTube show. Okay. We're not pre-recorded, none of that. Everything's done live. We'll make our mistakes live. We'll do it. It's like I did radio for many, many years, and that's why I call it the Big O Radio Show. Why? Because it's like a radio show. It is live. The interviews are scheduled live. They're not pre-recorded. You get me live in the moment of whatever is going on. So that's kind of captured in the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's where our show is absolutely different than everybody else. Plus, we talk about everything. We are well-rounded. I was just thinking about this. I'm really the only host in South Florida that talks all sports. Okay? Baseball we kind of leave out only because the Marlins choose to be shitty. But that's a whole different ballgame. But outside of that, we talk everything else. And not everybody does that. You know what I mean? And especially not on a live basis. Instead of being prepared and all your notes and everything and all that, you know me, there's a lot of stuff that you got to ad lib when you do live. And there's a different skill set for that. So our show is a lot different than everybody else's. And we appreciate you tuning in for whatever it is, all the sports, one sport, investing, entertainment, screwing around, whatever it is that we do and we feel like doing at that moment. Thank you. We feel blessed. Appreciate you. Is that an OG Falcon from the 80s? Shit. What's he talking about, Sean?
Was there a Millennium Falcon up there? I think.
Yeah. Yes. Of course, that's my favorite. That's my favorite ship. That's my favorite ship, dude. It's a Millennium Falcon. Now, what I've been trying to get for years, okay, because there's not really they don't really make it, so maybe somebody makes it like on their own or something. I'm trying to get like a Death Star that's yay big, so I can hang. And that's what I was thinking of. I can hang and then closer to the Millennium Falcon, and then have maybe like a TIE fighter or something hanging from the roof and all that, because everything is the whole studio is all padded and everything like that. So I can actually hang it from different places and stuff like that. So it'll look cool. So that's been my mission for years now, trying to find because they make little ones, but I don't want a little one. I want a decent size one, like a basketball size. Trying to find a legit one. There's this toy one that opens up, but it's kind of bogus. I thought it was going to be Wednesday. Okay. I thought you were available Wednesday. I sent it by accident. Now, I'll do it. If you want to do it, we'll do it. You want to go? You want to go? My bad. That was my mistake. Let's go. Ira Winderman is ready. And see, remember what I was talking about on the fly? You got to adjust. Okay. Well, Ira Winderman was actually scheduled for tomorrow. I accidentally sent him a link from today. He joined in. He's popped into the batter's box. So that means it's time for the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. There he is. You got like a blurred background.
Yeah, I actually wasn't ready and wasn't wearing the regular golf shirt, so I figured I'd go with the blurred background for now, but we can adjust need be, but
no, you're good. I was just kind of new. That's all. I'm just kind of
I wasn't fully in place, so I adjusted. I got to the computer. I saw you sent me the link for today. These holiday weeks are always a little bit sort of, a little bit different what day it's going to be, but we have things to talk about. We have issues to address. So I figured, hey, I got the time. Let's get going.
That's good, and I have no problem with that. And since there is some stuff to talk about, obviously, I thought last night Minnesota lost out on a hell of an opportunity. Ant-Man has to be special for them to, if you're going to you're going to beat SGA is special. That funky little side shot that he made last night, off balance. This kid is special, and so he's doing what he's supposed to do. What did he have, 40 last night or something?
He did, and Jalen Williams had a game, and it just showed you young, versatile talent that makes a difference. But you know what? Because I know, Big O, you always take me back to Bam and to relate to the Heat. This is a league about scoring, and we can talk about versatile defense, and we could talk about playmaking and being complete, and that's all well and good. You've got to have scoring. And Minnesota, I'm not a Julius Randle fan, but when he's scoring, they're a much better team. So I understand why you make a move for a player like that. I get the whole scoring thing. I'll take you back a day before that. I was never a big Karl Anthony Towns fan. Always felt he was somewhat soft. I thought Jimmy actually had some of that right. But he can score. And for all those years of the Knicks trying to play low scoring and Tibbs running guys into the ground, sometimes you need a Cat 40 burger or a 15-point fourth quarter to really pull you through at the end. And I just hope there's a lesson that the Heat look at these playoffs. And you can be all the hardest working, meanest, blah, 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 blah you want, but you've got to score the basketball. And if you look at moves that teams have made, Jalen Brunson's not a good defender. Tyrese Halliburton's not a good defender. But you win with those players because they consistently can put the ball in the basket. Pascal Siakam, they added the offense they needed. All season, people were questioning, the Pacers, they don't defend. They're going to get burned in the end. Well, they're defending fine, but they're scoring. And you could look at 3, 4, sometimes 5 people on the floor for them. And what they're doing, they have offense out there. Big O, we've got to move out of the Stone Age. We've got to get back to where it is, just like in football. You can want to run the ball and play in the mud and do all that. We saw with the Dolphins way too often. You have to score the ball. Right. If you have the deep threats, you have to get the ball to the deep threats. Because Tyreek Hill running around and not getting the ball or taking short passes ain't going to cut it. The same thing with Waddle. Sports is more fun when you score. I think you'd agree with that. Sports is more fun when you play wide open. I hope the Heat takes that lesson this offseason.
Ira, I've told you on this segment already several times, this is why you have to adjust with the times, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Things are going to change in life. And I've said already for several years why Bam isn't a star, because a star in today's NBA must be able to impose their offensive will. Okay? In the 90s, Bam is a star, an absolute rock star in the 90s, because that was more his game. But because it's not in him to impose his offensive will, we end up with this. And then Tyler can score, but he can't impose it, because then they'll play defense on him and he'll slow down or he won't be the same. Special players, they're all going to get attention, but the special players find a way to score, and it has to be from inside of them, that they have to have that killer desire that you're not going to stop me, or like Jimmy Butler, you're going to make me go to the line. You're going to make me go to the line. We're going to fall 7 times and we're going to get up 8. Right?
Like,
that was
like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, every game is going to give you 10 points from the foul line. He's going to bust his ass to get there. But the difference with Jimmy is Shai also can shoot and also can score. Look, your reference to the 80s. Let's face it. And I know this, I hope he's not listening. The only person I hope he's not listening right now, but Charles Oakley might be unplayable in today's NBA. God bless him for what he did and what he didn't offensive-wise. Bam can be sort of similar to what Marcus Camby was back in the day. And that was good enough. Score sometimes, defend all the time. That's not it anymore. So I even wrote today at the Sun Sentinel in my Ask Ira feature, Bam is at least an A-, an A defender. I get all that. But you've got to be at least a B+ scorer also in today's
God, yes.
Not a B-, not a C+. That's the difference for max money. Times have changed. It's kind of strange, but for all the greatness of Spo and Pat Riley and everyone, damn, this has been a really slow to adjust team.
Yes.
And you get people like the Don Shulas over the years who maybe didn't adjust to the times, maybe even a Jimmy Johnson during his Dolphins time, maybe even a Nick Saban during his Dolphins time. You have to adjust to the times a little bit more. And that's what the Heat need to do this offseason. You don't have to necessarily change leadership, but leadership has to change a little bit more. I think that's what matters as much as anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying to remove anybody. I'm just saying, guys, things have changed and you refuse to change. You just can't buy that free agent anymore. The only way they come available is if you have a bunch of picks and you have space, and you guys continue to fail to put yourselves in that position. So unfortunately now you have to go through the painful process of the only way you'll get into that position is by gutting your team, getting rid of the two guys that you thought were stars, get whatever picks there, and reset for the next couple of years. And I get it. It's going to suck. I get it, Mickey. Maybe the building won't be as full. Maybe the people won't be as pumped up. But, dude, you'll start to turn the corner and go in the direction that you need to go in. This way, we're Gus Ferrating the bitch. We're just running our heads into the wall, doing the same shit. Look, and this started several years ago when Riley shoved Whiteside right down Spo's throat. And once he did that, it was proving that he refused to adjust with what's going on. When Spo's trying to tell you, bro, did you see me what I just did in the Big Three era? It's positionless. Stop giving me a dude that's limited. And so now he had to deal with that. And then what did Riley say? Oh, no, you guys got to get along. You guys got to figure it out. No, dude, that guy doesn't fit. And now what does he say? Oh, they got to play better defense. Dude, that's not going to bail you out.
It's going to help, but it's not going to be the ultimate answer.
Oh, it's not in this league anymore. This is not a defensive league. Do you need to make stops? Yes. Yes, you got to stop bleeding. Yes, you got to stop runs. Of course, you got to stop at a play in a moment, in a 2-minute or whatever. Yeah, you got to have some defenders for that. But the days of locking teams down and keeping them down into the 90s and even to the low hundreds, that shit is over, bro. It's over.
And you know what, Big O? I'm going to give you example A. The Indiana Pacers, for a couple of years, everyone said the same thing. They can score, but they can't stop you. So it's not going to matter. And I think what we're learning right now, this is what's changed. The Heat used to try to take defensive players and make them scorers and make it work that way.
Right.
Now, what Rick Carlisle did in Indiana is he took scorers and he's making them defend. And he turned it the other way. You've seen some of these possessions against the Knicks. The Pacers defense has been fantastic. They're back to 5 men on a string. They're all playing together. They're getting it done. They're forcing 24-second violations. That might be the more doable way. I'll give you an example. A name that's out there right now, I don't know if you plan on bringing it up or not, but I'll bring it up anyways, DeMar DeRozan. Not a huge fan of him and what his mid-range shots, but if you can add his offense to this team and not give something up, go for it. Bring in a scorer. Now, I'm not saying to give up draft capital, give up young players or any of that, but go for the offense. If you're not sure of Niko Jovic as a defender, make him a defender, but he can move the ball, he can handle the ball, he can shoot the ball, he can give you more offense. Stop holding off from doing that. Take the chance. And you know what? The beauty of the NBA season is this. It's an 82-game season. You can get to where you want to be at the end by trying something else at the beginning. I would love to see the Heat come out of camp next season with more of an offensive bent, maybe hitting the offensive glass a little more, maybe giving up a little bit of their kind of BS defensive identity. Because you know what, Big O? The Miami Heat finished 9th in defensive rating this season. And where did it get them?
Nothing.
The 10th best record in the Eastern Conference, the 20th best record in the NBA. So at what point, the definition of insanity, do you keep banging your head against the defensive wall and expect different results? We're going to win with defense. No, you're not going to win with defense. The Pacers score. The Knicks this year, even Eric Spoelstra said this, are an offensive team this year. Yes, they have OG Anunoby. Yes, they have Josh Hart. Yes, they have players who can defend. But Mikal Bridges also can score, and that matters also. So I would like to see, one, it'll be more fun. It'll be more entertaining, and maybe they could find that way. You know what? If even your Big O show, going back to on the end of the AM dial and wherever you were, if you did the same show right now that you did 30 years ago, you would be a dinosaur and you would be in trouble. You have to evolve. I would love to see the Heat get rid of their mottos. I would love to see the Heat go back to a small C with Heat culture. You keep hanging on to the past. You can still do it with the same people if the people, like you've seen, are able to pivot, are able to move on to the next thing, are able to adjust. We've seen some brilliant older minds in the game realize. Greg Popovich, during the Heat playoff series in 2011 through 14, kept talking about the three-point shot, and he hates it. And I remember he started his press conferences. What do we want, a 4-point shot, a 5-point shot? It's all a gimmick. And then his team started shooting threes. Why? Because you have to adjust to the game. That's where the game is gone. So you have to see that from your team also. I would love to see an epiphany from the Heat that's saying, hey, this is the talent we have. This is the draft choices we have. These are the options we have. But let's design a game that's not most blah, 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 this. Get rid of mottos, score the damn basketball, and work around that. And I think you're seeing it in the East Finals with the Knicks, offensive team, not your grandfather's or your dad's New York Knicks. Indiana Pacers, offense first. Rick Carlisle took care of the defense. I think it's a more fun way to win, and I think it gets you basically into the 2020s where you sort of need to be about now.
And listen, right now, your hope right now is that one of these other young cats turns into something special. You've got the 16th pick in the draft. Is that correct?
He'd have the 20th pick in the draft. The
20th pick in the draft. That's probably, I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible. Sure, a superstar can come out of there, but it's rare for you to get that. So to me, the only sign that tells me that you're going to do that is if you trade one of those two guys or both of them. To me, that's the only way you've got.
And I'm going to give you a little bit less drastic.
You're not the answer.
And I get that. But if we have to take subtle steps, and last year's draft was interesting, and there have been others like this. You had a guy like Jared McCain who came out and went to the Sixers. He was injured early in the year, but he was a great scorer. At number 20, don't give me this. Well, he might not defend and he might not rebound like we like. No, get the guy who can shoot the absolute crap out of the ball, work around the rest of it. A couple of years back, the Heat went for sides with Precious Achiuwa. I know Adam Simon hates me bringing this up. Bypass Tyrese Maxey, bypass Desmond Bane. Maybe at some point you get back to what you even did with Tyler Hero. Yes, he has alligator arms. He's not a defender, but he can score the ball. Because it's been Tyler Hero who's kept the Heat afloat during this Jimmy I don't give a crap time until he was moved. And here I think is the fault of the trade that they made for Jimmy Butler. They tried to get Jimmy 2.0 and Andrew Wiggins, and God bless him. And you know what, Big O? He's a nice two-way player.
But you knew that, Ira. He's not mentally wired like Jimmy.
No, I understand that. But I understand that. But he's also not mentally wired to be an MF scorer. Maybe in retrospect, you'd make a play for Kuminga, or you do the Durant trade when they had a chance with Jimmy and you get scoring. I think there really needs to be sort of a Miami Heat retreat and say, hey, God bless you, 9th place in scoring. We'll give you a lovely 9th place participation trophy. But we've got to be better than 21st on offense for two reasons.
Yes.
One, that's how you win. Two, it's kind of fun. So if we're going to be a 42-40 team or a 37-45 team, at least you might leave Kaseya Center and say, damn, that loss hurt. But man, that was fun when they were on that 15-0 run. I think they have to change that a little. I don't think they'll ever acknowledge or ever admit it because we have too many pithy slogans. You could put that, matter of fact, when you do the Accurate Pembroke Pines billboard, okay, and you have me retweet it, put up too many pithy slogans because we have to really move away from that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Listen, by the way, I believe the Heat culture is alive and well and very healthy. The problem is their direction, their plan. That's the part that's kind of out of sorts. And if you go with what we're talking about here, you go find the offensive player, dude, your culture will make him a better defender. Are you going to make him, all of a sudden shut people down. No, but hell, Tim Hardaway got here and started sticking his hands in the middle of the passing lanes and getting some steals, and he would take some charges every once in a while. You'll start doing those kind of things because you've done it to other players.
Wade going for steals, blocking shots, most block shots from a player under 6'5" and probably under 6'3" also. That you can add to it.
Best team defender ever in Heat history. He's the best team defender, actually.
Right amongst up there. But exactly, the PJ Browns, God bless them, this isn't their time. This time has come and gone. The Anthony Masons, this time has come and gone. Honestly, I'm going to tell you something, and this might seem like sacrilege. I'm not sure Alonzo Mourning had enough offense to be as effective a two-way player in today's NBA, and God bless Zoe as one of the franchise cornerstones. So that's a bit of the difference right now. Even Khalil Ware last year, unless he develops more of an offensive game, unless he hits the three, you have another guy who can score. Stop throwing out all these guys in your lineup who cannot score. You have to have 5 live threats, like the Pacers do when they get Neesmith to score now and Siakam to score. Miles Turner hitting that midi. I don't care where the shot's coming from. He can score. That's the difference. You have to have a live offense. I totally agree. Hopefully they move in that direction. And you know what? They won't.
And by the way, that's the reason why I enjoy the WNBA so much. Because in the W, they play the inside-outside game. And it's still like kind of that basketball that I grew up with that I love. And so I appreciate the women's game more than ever because they're still post players. The post still matters and they still play the inside outside game. And I like that actually. So to me, the older elements of the NBA are completely alive and well in the WNBA. I find it really cool.
Well, and you saw the scoring. The scoring had been really up at one point, then came down sort of during the Riley. I mean, think about Pat Riley's career. Showtime Lakers, as good an offense as maybe we have ever seen. Grind and grit New York Knicks, as good as defense and fouling and other stuff as we've ever seen. And yet the rest of the league went back up. And the Heat are still leveling here, talking about we've been the top 10 defense for the last X amount of years, and it's been good for us. No, it really hasn't in the play-in years and what you've been required to do. And beyond that, it's not sexy and it's not scintillating. And the Heat's whole thing has been there's nothing more scintillating or sexy than a W. Well, no, I got to sit through 48 minutes of that. I'd kind of like to have fun on the ride as well.
Yeah, they have to understand that what you have, it's great. It's foundational. But it cannot be what is premier in your franchise, what is the elite part of your franchise. It has to be offense. Has to be offense. The days of defense leading it, those days are done, man. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
You know, what I'm talking about now is I proposed a couple of things. In my Sunday column, I said the one thing we're seeing is the depth of talent around the NBA. Indiana's depth, they have 8 quality players. Even Tom Thibodeau is forced to play deeper. The ultimate example is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they have really good guys. They can't even play. So if we're talking about a Heat having a problem at the top, that's all well and good. But they also have to develop a little bit more playable depth. And you and I have said this on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report. The Heat right now have a bunch of 8th and 9th men. That's all well and good, but you've got to have that 5th man, that 6th man, that 7th man. They've got to work a little bit more on their depth of talent. Other teams have found a way besides drafts, besides free agency, with the right trade for the right players. I mean, Aaron Neesmith's a perfect example. Right now in Indiana, you can find the right players if you aggressively go out and do your research and find a guy who's almost on the cusp and can make that move. So that's one thing. The other thing is, and you totally disagree with this, is I think if the Heat do take a gap year with Tyler and Bam, I do think there's a way to at least add a little more offense, whether it's a DeRozan or Durant, to at least juice the product a little without having to give up too much of your future. But yeah, eventually there has to be a turn. You were the 10th place team in the East this year. You were the 20th place team in the NBA. That matters. That calls for major changes along the way. I agree with that.
It's really become the norm. That's who they are now because that's what your talent is. And that's the part that they just don't seem to want to understand, that the talent and the way you play is completely hurting you, and they've got to change that. All right.
And in my Ask Ira today, I even said, hey, like I mentioned, maybe we're not our biggest fan of him, but Karl Anthony Towns is a little bit more of what Bam Adebayo has to become. You've got to be able to offer a little bit more offense. So I addressed that in today's Ask Ira.
And sassy passing. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his fantastic work there like I do at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have a fantastic week.
And still, we might have given the wrong days. Let me give you two different opens. Hey, welcome everybody to Tuesday's Acura of Pembroke Pines report. 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome everybody to Wednesday's Acura of Pembroke Pines report. I'll get the dates right next week. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, my brother. Be good. Never a problem with Ira. He can come on anytime he wants. Doesn't matter. It's all good. We'll be prepared. We can do it. It's not a problem. 17th anniversary sale is going on at Acura Pembroke Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. And, folks, we still have 2024 ZDXs. I'm sorry, I was going to say RDX. My wife has her RDX. They have the RDX there too. But the ZDX, yes, take advantage. These are pre-tariff vehicles. Okay? Got to be honest. What if they're made in the U.S., you're going to get a break. But if they're not made in the U.S., and, a lot of companies nowadays have a lot of cars that are not made in the U.S., and then some are made in the U.S. That's kind of the way it goes. You really won't know. You're like, hey, isn't this this company? And don't they have – no, well, some of ours are over there and some are – so these are pre-tariff cars. So, take advantage right now. $439 a month, 0% financing for 72 months. Get electrified. Get on down there, 15601 Pines Boulevard. Go check out the RDX, which my wife drives every day for the last 15 years. That thing is an absolute tank. Okay? So the ZDX, the RDX, the ILX, I mean, come on, man. All right. A lot of great models. Tell them that Big O sent you. And the service center, second to none. Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber, great people. So you happen to own or lease an Acura, take it there. They'll take care of you. And again, mention my name. They will give you a little extra love at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Heat are like the old stubborn man that won't change. They are stuck in their ways. Man, is that not true or what? I knew radio was dying over 5 years ago. I said, man, I got to figure out a way to get out of this contract. And I knew they weren't going to pick up my option. So I had to make sure that, all that was going to be was make sure that it would happen. I would get the hell out. And I go, I can start my own platform. I've got great sponsors, great people around, and I think there'll be enough people that'll find us and all that good stuff. And we've been blessed. And isn't radio dying? I mean, Jesus Christ, it's practically dead because it's all platforms now. You gotta have foresight. Not just foreskin, you gotta have foresight. Money is changing. The world will go by a different standard. Sorry. And if you don't adjust, you will be left behind. So, that's kind of and that's always been my life. Even though no matter how older I get, I try to adjust to whatever is going on. I see what's going on, and sometimes you gotta pivot before, most do. And I've done that several times. And I've been blessed because now I get to do everything on my own, the way I want to do it. And I get to talk about anything and everything because I can talk about anything and everything. I am not, penciled into one sport or one topic or that, because that's not who I am. So I can go off and talk about music for the next hour if I felt like it. You know what I'm saying? I could just do that if I wanted to, or entertainment or whatever. Speaking of entertainment, by the way, Post Malone and Jelly Roll are coming to Hard Rock Stadium. That's a lot of stupid tattoos on one stage. Wow. I always wonder about that. Do you know you're going to get old? Are you going to do the Pete Davidson and have to erase them all? Is that what it is? What is it with tattoos on the face? See, I don't know. It's a weird look. Luckily, they're famous, so they're tolerated. But if they weren't famous, they'd be looked at like, what's going on with these two crack addicts? Yeah. Okay. And they look like cool dudes, by the way. But though you know they'll be taking all of that off in a few years. Okay. They'll definitely Pete Davidson the bitch. There's no way they're going to keep all that shit walking around at 70 years old. You'd look pretty stupid with a wrinkled face and all those tattoos. At one point, I would imagine that Mike Tyson will take his off. Because that shit's going to look raggedy with a wrinkly face. It's going to look like a Shar-Pei with like all kinds of oddities coming out of your face or something. Pat in Asheville, you are amazing, dude. See, this is why I do the show. People like this that you get to know, you become friends with. So Pat has my phone number. So he sent me a Death Star, and I would on eBay, but it's handheld. Okay, that's not bad. I see him holding it in his hand. That's not bad, actually. I wanted like a basketball size, but that's not bad right there. That's like a large grapefruit, right? Well, that would be a jumbo grapefruit. It's a little bigger than a grapefruit. Smaller than a WNBA basketball. But this one's the closest I've ever seen, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's on Etsy. By the way, it's cheap. It's not bad. I mean, that might do the trick. That might be the best. That's the best somebody's ever found for me, by the way, because I've never found one like at least this, because I can take the stand off and still hang it and get away with it. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. What do we have here? What do we have? Trade them both. I don't know if the Heat have the balls to do what they're supposed to do. We'll find out. If you don't, I'll tell you this, okay? Dolphins, by the way, have made a roster move. They have signed Ryan Cooper Jr. and placed cornerback Jason Maitre on the injured reserve list. That kid doesn't even play. I thought he got injured last year, too, while he was on the practice squad. And now he's already injured again. He belongs on this team. Anyway, if the Heat doesn't make a trade of getting rid of Bam or Tyler or both, then I know that unfortunately the Miami Heat haven't learned the goddamn thing, and they'll keep trying to do the stupid shit, which is what I was talking about. Like, oh, let's get defensive players and make them offensive, and it's not the way it goes. All right, let's switch gears. Hour number 2, David Furones joins us. We're going to talk a little Miami Dolphins with the one and only David Furones in our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All righty. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins. And, you know, it's interesting, David, that I was just talking with Ira, and the Dolphins haven't learned the lesson either. You know, the Miami Heat, I've been talking for years now that in today's NBA, if you cannot impose your offensive will, I don't believe you're a star in today's NBA. Whereas Bam Adebayo, a little too young for you, but in the 90s, he would have been a star because it was more about defense and the scoring was limited. And since he's a limited scorer, that would help out because his 16, 18 points and his defense would have been really standing out in that era. And he would have been much more valuable because points are more of a premium in those days. Well, now points are abundance. And that's because you need to score a lot, and they refuse to understand. And Ira made a good point that they're getting defensive players and trying to make them offense. What you got to do is get players that can score and try to teach them how to be better defenders, which I completely agree with that. So today is day 18,719 since the Miami Dolphins lifted the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Man.
So on this 18,719th day, the Dolphins did it then because they had a dominant running game.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dominant running game feeded the offense, and it allowed the passer, Bob Greasy, to even win one of those two Super Bowls by throwing 7 passes in an entire game. Okay? And then you had Dan Marino, and they fucking didn't understand that you gotta run the ball like Joe Montana and Roger Craig did. In the 90s, they didn't learn their goddamn lesson. There's Thurman Thomas running on them for 300 yards and the screen and everything else, and the Dolphins could not do it. Fast forward into the 2020s, since I'm old, but I adjust and I see what goes on in life. And I know what you got to do in life and change because things are going to change. So you tell me, are they going to develop a dominant running game? Because without a dominant running game, you cannot win in this league. And more specifically, you cannot win with Tua Tagovailoa, because he's not going to be a running quarterback to bail your ass out like Josh Allen does for Buffalo and like Lamar Jackson tries also for Baltimore. That's a different thing than Buffalo and Baltimore. They have a guy that that has another element to their game. So if their running game's not working, he ignites it with his running. That's not going to happen here. So you need to have a Zonka, a Kick, a Morris, or just one of those goddamn 3. Talk to me. Are they going to have a dominant running game?
I think the point to highlight that you made is that you're not going to win with Tua at quarterback without a dominant running game. Because I think in today's NFL, just the same way like you're talking about the adjustments in the NBA that you need to turn now offensive players into defensive players, and Bam Adebayo is a throwback to the 90s. He would have fit great with Zoe and PJ Brown in there. He would have been like a combination of those guys for those Heat teams. But like you also could say going back to those 70s Dolphins, and that's how you won then. Now it's the passing game that you win with first, and then the running game kind of complements it. You can still go switch it and do it with like the Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. But Patrick Mahomes isn't having a dominant running game every year.
Yeah, but there's no kind. The running game has to be the yin and the yang of it. It has to be, not kind of. The running game, you need to be able to hand it off, and it has to be able to get the 4 yards for the first down. It has to get that 4th and 1. It has to score on the goal line. It has to be something. You cannot all of a sudden, let's go, Baltimore, Miami. Here we go. Raheem Mostert, boom, 6 yards. Raheem Mostert, boom, 3 yards. Raheem Mostert, boom, 5 yards. Boom, Raheem Mostert, 8 yards. You're now at 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 or something like that. So you've run the ball. And then all of a sudden, guess what they decided to do on that short down? Do you remember what happened?
Oh, okay. So this isn't a theoretical thing. This is a specific
screen to Tyreek.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Strip, fumble, So this is what you do. And you cannot do that. You have to be able to count on the running game. When Mahomes doesn't have an offensive line and a running game, he doesn't win the title. Oh, and by the way, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have yet to win a title. Why? Because they can't pass like Tua. So you've got what you need as a passer, but you've got to run the goddamn ball. And if you don't dominate with the running game, you're never going to win. You don't win with a dominant without running. You don't win with Brady. Without running, you don't win with Breeze. Without running, you don't win with Greasy. Without running, even a special passer like Marino, who's better than all those guys, you can't win. You cannot win. So it can't be a kind of. It has to be the centerpiece of your offense. The one that complements is the passing. The passing has to be able to score, but the running game is the one that gets you there. The running game is the one that keeps you leveled. The running game is the one that keeps you away from less turnovers and all that kind of stuff. The running game has to be the centerpiece. That's why I tell you they need a dominant running game.
And the running game is what gets you the situational things that the Dolphins have struggled with, the short yardage situations, goal line, turning it into touchdowns and being able to punch it in when the field gets tight in the red zone and you don't have all those same passing lanes. But I mean, I would disagree with you on which one's the priority. Nowadays, I think the priority is it's more of the passing game. And then you could even use some of the short passing game as a substitute for the run. And then the run is what has to complement the passing game and also set your defense up. The run game does set the defense up too.
You're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening. There's an ingredient you keep leaving out. You're thinking like you have a running quarterback.
No, not at all.
I'm thinking like you have simply a passer. He's like Marino. He's like Greasy.
I'd say the same.
They're specialists. They're not quarterbacks. They're not football players. They're passers. That's all they can do. They pass. They're not going to get you anything with their legs. They can buy a millisecond, a half a second, maybe a second moving one way to another or something. That's about it. Find a different launch point. When you have these kind of quarterbacks, when you have the Bradys and the Peyton Mannings, you better run the ball, dude. You better run the ball because they become better passers because of that.
But even Tom Brady, he would go and win Super Bowls with like Antoine Smith in the backfield. They had Corey Dillon one year, but yeah, he was still good, but not like the the Cincinnati Bengals, like that epic season or season or two that he had with the Bengals. He was still good and solid, but not like how he produced.
Those defenses were dominant. Those defenses were dominant, but their running game could get all the short yardage it needed because they had the best offensive line coach in the NFL, one of the 3 best in the history of the game, and Dante Scarnecchia, who was there for his entire career. So they could always get the short yardage stuff that they needed, and they always used the short yardage game to their advantage all the time. They didn't have to pop you for 150, 170-yard running back, but they'd end up with 130, 140 every game because they pound you with short yardage stuff all the time. They could count on the short yardage stuff, and you could count on the quarterback sneak too with Tom Brady also. That would help out, which is something that they don't do here. You cannot do. There are certain things you cannot do here that you did with other quarterbacks, and you have to understand that. And that's my point. Mike McDaniel refuses to understand that with Tua, you got to be Alabama. Yeah, you can have passing, but bro, you need to scare the shit out of them with running. The middle linebacker has to be cheating up. The safety has to be cheating up. And then their passing becomes absolutely unstoppable. That's where when everybody, oh yeah, Tua's just got first-round receivers all over. Yeah, he does, but they were open because they could run the hell out of the ball. And those guys in the middle had to come up. That, to me, is essential. If you do not dominate running the ball, you will not win the Super Bowl. And isn't that what it's all about?
Well, of course. And yeah, that helps you have long, sustained drives, which, the thing is the Dolphins found such a great balance because they had big plays in the 2023 season where they led the league in passing and were number 6 in rushing and rushing yards per attempt. They also, I believe, might have been second. I have to look back to confirm. Yeah, was it second? So had a great balance there, but it wasn't like the presence of like sustaining drives with the run game. It was more like you had a big play and then that shoots your average up. But then you also maybe lost some yardage on another play, but it was like you had so many yards from the long 50-yard run that your average was still super high. So it was kind of like a little bit deceiving, and they would do that against the poor teams, and then they wouldn't have that balance and the both sides being effective, the both pass and the run game against the strong defenses and winning teams. So that was what happened then. They tried to find a way to sustain longer drives, and then it didn't work in 2024, and you had neither. So I do like that they're bringing in a Jalen Wright the year before, so that now you can develop him in year 2. You drafted a big running back in Ollie Gordon, and then you brought in an Alexander Madison, who, say what you will, he struggled maybe with some of his vision, but he's a guy who can probably help you in those short yardage situations, 3rd and 1. He's a guy you can go to, and has started to catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit. So all these different elements to complement your main guy, which will be Devon Achane, who can be versatile in the backfield. So there's a lot you can do with this running game. I would like to see how it turns out, and if they do end up having that presence that really allows you to bring a linebacker up, to make a safety just not go sit back and play the cover 2 and lock in on doubling Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle with that.
You're getting it. You're getting it. Yeah. And with Tua, if you don't run that offense, you're okay. You are. I'm sorry. You're screwed. That's not in his talent. That's not in his toolbox, as everybody loves to use that adjective. You know what I mean? It's just not, dude. He's not athletic enough for that kind of stuff. He's a statue back there. So you make those statues run around. When the Dolphins had success against Tom Brady, why was it, dude? What happened in those games? Do you remember?
Get pressure on him with the front 4?
Exactly. They got to him. They made him uncomfortable. The great Tom Brady. And all those kind of games ended up close because the Dolphins harassed him. And why? Because he's not an athlete. He can't avoid it. And he had a much better offensive line coach than the Dolphins have ever had. We got to go back to the 70s to start comparing Dante Scarnecchia to the coaches then. Okay, so he had the greatest offensive line coach that could keep him clean. And, he's the greatest. I get it, dude. But there's a reason why he was the greatest. People helped you along the way also to do what you do. And the only way, if you want Montana to have success, bro, he's got to have Roger Craig back there. He's got to have a Tom Rathman. He's got to have an offensive line that can block the shit out of people. They can run the ball on short yardage. They can also get big plays for you. And then there's Rice and Taylor and Jesus Christ, the tight end. It's the same thing that happens in Kansas City. If you don't have Pacheco hammering those short yardage plays, it makes life harder on even Mahomes, who has athleticism. Even Mahomes can't win when the offensive line can't block. So for Tua, you must have an offensive line that can block. You must have an offensive line that can run block. And if you don't have that, you're not going anywhere. You're just not going anywhere. So if we come out of the preseason and into the first month of the season and they cannot punch people in the mouth on short yardage situations, that's where it's going to come down to, because that's what it's been coming down to for 40 years, whether it's Dan Marino under center or Tua under center. You get to short yardage, men have to be men, and most of the time, they're just boys.
Yeah, no, I mean, short yardage will be one of the determining factors for this season, because if you, even last year with all the struggles, if you just convert some of those short yardage situations, then we're talking about a whole different story for a lot of those games that the Dolphins lost.
Dude, I'm talking about a completely different legacy if you can do that over the last 40 years. I mean,
Yeah, fair.
So to me, that's what this whole thing is all about. If I don't see you develop obviously on the D line, I love their draft. I do. I love what the front office has done. I like what they usually do overall. Do they make mistakes? Yeah, dude. Of course they make mistakes, and I'll call those out too. But this guy has to develop a dominant running game, and now Weaver does have a front seven. The poor man doesn't have a secondary. That's the one thing, unfortunately.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we talk about the run game and what they've done at running back, but you also have to mention the guards, the improvement at guard, investing in the offensive line. We know it's probably overlooked as a position as probably the two least important positions on offense, all right, the two guards, but it is important, and the Dolphins moved up in the second round to draft one of them, so he better be the goods. And then James Daniels, he better be right after coming back from this Achilles injury. But you did get him at a discount because of that, because the player that he is was worthy of the contracts that those higher price guards got. But you got him at a discount because he's coming off the Achilles. So hopefully that does bode well for the Dolphins, and he comes back right. So it's investing there where you knew you needed to address the offensive line. You did that at the two guard positions, and you hope Patrick Paul develops and all that. You have the size, you have the athleticism on the line, you have the running backs stocked up. You brought in some bigger bodied physical tailbacks to complement Devon Achane as the main guy back there. And then on the other side, it's the defense. You stockpile picks on the D line, infuse young talent onto the D line. So now it's the other side. It's stopping the opponent from being able to dominate short yardage and being able to run the ball down your throat, so that you can also get the ball back for your offense in a quicker way and put them into more tougher situations where now they're forced into passing situations where you can try to get more turnovers, which was another issue last year, not enough turnovers, takeaways from the defense.
One of the things that I talk about all the time on the show, and by the way, if you do need a lawyer, please call Welton Rayom 954-966-4646. Thanks to them, this segment happens twice a week, all year long, and we appreciate them. And if you need lawyers you can trust, bookend tackles that will get it done, Daniel Rayom, Jeff Welch, the man, the myth, the legends. That's what they are. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Call them. The consultation's completely free. So if you don't know if you have a case, call them. 954-966-4646. 46. You mentioned in your answer there that, maybe people don't think guards are that important. Well, I've used this many times to back up my point again that I made with you right now. And I've been making overall, I've been steadfast on this for a while. Drew Brees. It's, you look at the comparisons, right? They're pretty close, right? Tua and Drew Brees, not tall, decent arms, great accuracy, smart, not athletes, right? Pretty much the same comparison. Okay. Well, I want you to go look at the history of the offensive line. They hit on Teron Armstead out of Arkansas Pine Bluff, I believe, in the 5th or 6th. I think it was the 5th round, 6th round.
I think he was actually a 3rd rounder. But they went, it
was a late pick.
Yeah.
It was a late pick. They got lucky. I don't even think it was 3rd. I think it was later than that. But anyway, it was Arkansas Pine Bluff. I remember that. And
75 overall. 3rd round. But,
3rd round? Okay.
But it was a surprise at that. Yeah.
They got lucky, right? And then they got lucky again on another tackle. But if you go look at their history throughout with Drew Brees, it wasn't that they focused so much on the tackles. They focused on having elite guards in a center. And do you know why? Because Sean Payton is a quarterback's coach. He wanted to make sure that a short quarterback didn't have a crumbling pocket. So he did not allow his guards or his center to be average or below average or just above average. Go look at his guards. His guards a lot of times make Pro Bowls. His guards a lot of times were making a lot of money. Centers were making money. The middle of the New Orleans line during the Drew Brees years was exceptional. Okay? They ended up with really good tackles because they got lucky and they drafted them late and they ended up picking up on them, and they would have free agents that they'd bring in and out on one other side sometimes. But the middle, they either paid for it if they couldn't draft it, or they would draft it, or, and they would develop it on their own. But they always had exceptional in the middle because Drew Brees could stand there and look at the field, and he needed that as a short quarterback. And Sean Payton understood that. We have not understood that here. So the guards have been sieves. They haven't been, outside of Rob Hunt, they haven't really been the guys you need. You needed to keep Rob Hunt. That's, you know what? That one I defend them because I was the idiot also and said, no, you can't pay a guard $20 million. But guess what? That's stupid from us to do that from now on. When the market turns into the market, you can't do anything about it, bro. That's what the market is. This year, all the guards that were good guards, they were getting paid what? $20 million. So it was just the start of where we're going anyway. And so it was a bad decision on their part to let Rob Hunt go. I would have made the same mistake because I was with them on that. A lot of people were. I'm sure you were too. I don't know. You can't. Oh, we understand not paying a guard $20 million. It was understandable, but now we know it's a mistake. Now we know when you have a player like that, bro, pay him. It is what it is. You drafted him. He keeps your quarterback clean. You got to do it. So for me, in order to have a dominant running game, one that you can get the short yardage on, one that you can punch people in the mouth, you do need guards. And if you want to keep Tua protected and a clean pocket, you do it with the guards in the center because that's how your pocket opens. The tackles flush out even wider. So it actually opens up the passing lanes. Usually those are the widest windows. The ones inside, when you cave in that pocket, it ruins his picture. So all of a sudden, all he's got is outside. So, by the way, where is Tua most effective?
Short to intermediate.
Middle, right?
Yeah, because you don't want him throwing all the way to the sideline. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let's create an offensive line that creates havoc and traffic in the middle for our quarterback that is short. How does that make any sense?
No, it's simple physics, right? Like, let me see if I can diagram this. If you're a shorter quarterback, right, you're not like a Josh Allen, let's say Justin Herbert, right? Where if the pocket gets pushed back, he can still see over it and throw. But if you're a shorter quarterback, the pocket gets pushed back. Now you got to angle the ball up to get it over the line. I hope that worked. I hope that you can see that on what I try to diagram. It's simple physics. A shorter quarterback, it's going to change the ball trajectory, the angle that it comes out. If that interior pocket gets pushed back and collapses into him, he's got to go lob balls over the line to drop them in, and that gives the secondary more time to go get there. So yeah, it's that presents huge challenges for a shorter quarterback. You need to have space in front of them from the interior offensive line.
When you have a player, you have to understand who they are, and then you have to cater to their strengths. The Ravens, a couple years ago, they tried to make Lamar a passer, and they said, "Oh, okay, we'll keep him in the pocket more and all that," and it didn't work out for him. Okay, now they went back to let him run, and he's gonna do it again this year. But 3 years ago, they tried to. Oh no, we're gonna no, that didn't work. They need a new offensive coordinator, and they need to open things up. Boom, that's what they did. So you play to your players' strengths. You don't play to their weaknesses. So they've been playing to Tua's weaknesses, not to his strengths. Keep him in the pocket. Let him move around every once in a while with a boot and a waggle, whatever. That's fine. Change the launch positions, but protect the dude. Give him a pocket, and then give him a running game, and then he becomes nearly impossible to stop. But if you don't have the running game and you can pressure him, you're going to make him an absolute mortal. And with all that said, he still led the league in completion percentage, which I don't think people understand how special that is.
Yeah. And they were playing with fire a little bit going into last season, how there was so much emphasis on the mobility, adding some mobility for Tua, and it kind of bit them, maybe not entirely. There's a lot of factors as far as, you went from being so overprotective, and then you had a season where he was fully healthy, so you tried to see where you could toe that line of maybe trying to add something else in his game, but then you saw the results. It wasn't what it needed to be, and he could have protected himself better, where he was running forward. It wasn't even like extending a play. He was scrambling, and he dipped his head into a defender, DeMar Hamlin, and he missed 4 games and the remainder of that game against Buffalo because of that. So that's something he's got to get better at and learn from. And then you add in the factors of, okay, let's not have him go try to be something that he's not with the extra mobility and everything. Use it if needed, but break in case of emergency. But don't make it something that you go to. You call the play for it. Just let him be him in the pocket, and then only break that out if needed.
Right. Well, that's it's only desperation. Everything breaks down. Hey, you got 5 yards in front of you. Take it, slide, and live for the next play. But you don't go tackling. You don't go putting your shoulder into anybody. And if they intercept you, bro, you do the same thing Marino and Brady and Breeze and all those guys do. They just walk off the field pissed off, but they don't go trying to tackle the guy, bro. None of those guys go to tackle the guy. This kid.
You throw a pick six. Then what you do is you're going to get the ball right back. So go make up for it by leading a touchdown drive, and now you're back even.
Yeah. And his head is kind of like a bobblehead. So he's got to understand.
Oh, my God. Big O.
He's got to understand that. Dude, the longer we face our the faster we face our truths, the better we are to tackle them, my brother. Okay? I'm sitting there and I'm looking at myself going, dude, you weigh 290 pounds. You got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. You got to look at yourself and go, bro, you're fucking fat. Let's go. Get motivated. And, so whatever fault you have, you got to find a way to fix it. I'm stuck in AM radio. Oh, my God, I got to get the hell out of here. How do I get out of here? Well, I found a way. Okay? And alive and well. So find a way to correct your whatever it is. And you got to understand, bro, I just suffered a concussion. Do you think I am not really alert right now about making sure I don't hit my head anywhere right now? I am, because I suffered a pretty serious concussion. Okay. And I now I'm susceptible to the next concussion a lot easier if I fall and hit my head or anything like that. So I have to make sure that I don't hit the back of my head for long time. And I'm old. So that's even worse now for me. So he's got to understand who he is, what his limitations are. And he refuses to understand his limitations. Do you know what that's called, my brother? That's called ignorance. That's ignorance. So he needs to understand that he doesn't have a stable brain and a stable head because he's taken several hits. So he's got to protect himself. And he refuses to do that.
It's been clear. Unfortunately, it's been clear that some routine hits that you see in games that seem routine, they lead to concussions for him. So he definitely has to understand that, protect himself to the utmost, and take that advice.
Yeah, and he refuses to. So that's frustrating. There's a lot of frustrating shit. The Dolphins refuse to commit to the run for 40 years. They got a coach that refuses to understand that he's got to take control of the locker room, not give it to players. You know what I mean? We got a quarterback that doesn't understand that he's not an athlete. He's not a football player. He's a passer. That's all he is. He's a specialist. He's a passer. That's all he is. Not a football player. And he's got to stop with that. Okay? Peyton Manning wasn't a football player either. He was a passer. That's what he was. He wasn't going to beat you with his legs. Wasn't going to beat you with a shoulder. No, dude. He's going to beat you with an arm and a brain. That's what there, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be what you're not. Be who you are and be the best at it. That's all. Anyway, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I just posted yesterday an interview with Craig Ackerman. So new special teams outlook after the team moved on from Danny Crossman after all those years. I'll also be writing about the D-line. So we talked a little bit about that. Anthony Weaver and D-line coach Austin Clark talked about it last week. So getting around to that. And then it's OTAs this week. So we have an open one to the media tomorrow. So get plenty from that. And we'll see who we get to interview in the offseason. Is it Tua? Is it Tyreek Hill? We'll find out. I don't know yet who's going to be talking tomorrow, but OTAs, it's that time.
All right, so let me ask you something. When you were trying to design a background for you, did you just buy that frame and you just haven't replaced what came with it when you bought it? At that moment, it came with a George Washington picture, but you're supposed to put your family or a sports figure or something. I'm just trying to figure out what was the deal with George Washington.
Oh, you don't know who this is? This is
Who is
Tony
that?
Soprano. It's actually Tony Soprano as a general.
No,
it's from
it
the
is?
series. It's from the series. It's like if you watch The Sopranos, it's like a deep cut. Well, not even that much of a deep cut reference.
I forgot completely about that, dude.
It's that
Wow.
he gets the frame of him with the horse, the painting Pyomai. The
That's
horse.
right.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
No, I saw it. I saw
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I completely
And
forgot.
then one of his guys after.
Well, I thought that was Washington, bro. So what, you were a big Sopranos fan and you bought it, or somebody gave it to you as a present? Is that what it is?
I went and I saw it, it just came up online and I was like, I gotta get that.
All right, that's cool. All right,
Yeah.
And why the U and no other logo locally?
And,
Because you're like
I got
me.
much space behind me.
You're born and raised here like me, so why not no other logos? By the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I figure, all right, because I got to maintain some objectivity as a reporter, but then also, I mean, I don't cover the University of Miami anymore, and that is my alma mater, so I feel like now I can go ahead and just safely, other people, they rep their alma mater. So, hey, I went to school there. What do you want me to do? And I don't cover them anymore. I cover the Dolphins. So I feel like if I could post a U.
I think that's such bullshit that it really stops us from being objective.
Yeah. Right. I cover the Dolphins objectively, despite growing up in Miami and obviously as a kid, growing up a Dolphins fan. I can give you the good or the bad, however it's going.
Dude. Yeah, I tell you exactly what's bad all the damn time. And I love the team. That has nothing to do with it. Loving the team. I love the team. I'll openly say I love all the local teams. Dude, I'm a local guy. I'm born and raised here. Born in Belgrade, Florida. Raised in Miami and Little Havana and Hialeah my entire damn life. So
you were born in Belgrade? I didn't know that.
Born in Belgrade, Florida. Yeah, bro. Wow. I was the only guy without talent they were born, because apparently everybody else is born with talent in Belgrade except me.
Well, you had a different talent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if that's a talent, but whatever. But yeah, so it's like that doesn't stop me from calling shit and saying what it is. If it's not like I'm just telling you right now what I've watched the Dolphin problem for 40 years. It's the same damn problem with Marino or with Tua. If you don't give them a dominant running game that can scare the defense and keep them honest, you're going to give the defense the advantage over your passer. And it doesn't matter who the passer is. It just doesn't matter, dude, because they cannot rely on the run. And by the way, Marino couldn't rely on the defense, and it's up and down this defense too, on top of all of that. So
yeah, and the secondary will be a concern. So it
again, like it was in the Josh. Okay, now we're back. Like in the Josh, what's the name of the defensive coordinator from a few years ago? Josh
Boyer.
Josh Boyer. That the poor guy had no secondary too, and he was relying on pass rush pretty much. Yeah. Same shit.
That's what Weaver's gonna have to do. Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter, David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Appreciate you, my friend. You be good. We'll catch up on Friday. Thank you. Jeff Welt, Daniel Rayom, absolute ass kickers. And by the way, when you call Jeff, he's a big Canes and Dolphins fan. He loves all the local teams. He's a local guy like I am, man. And you could talk sports with him. You can, obviously talk about the pain that you're all going through, except for the Panthers, of course. We love those people. They're amazing. They're on a roll right now. But they can help you out in anything. If you're dealing with bankruptcy, which unfortunately a lot of Americans are dealing with because credit card debt is at its highest that it's been in history. Okay, people are putting groceries on pay later now. Things are bad, folks. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, any of these things can happen to us. Business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. You call my guys, Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. The consultation's free, and tell them that Big O sent you.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. Appreciate you all out there as always. Thank you. Remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we always appreciate that. And you can also make a Chainlink and Solana donation too, because that's also there. Bitcoin right now, we are at 110. We're back at 110. I thought for sure we'd hit the record today, go to 111, because it's like 110.9, like 60 or 70 or something like that is the height. I saw it at 22. I saw 110.922. That was my the highest peak I saw, but I think it went a little higher than that. We have not hit 111 yet officially. So we are waiting to hit 111. I thought it would be today. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar and the amazing Alan Blanco. If you're a company or corporation, you need custom printing and embroidery, please reach out to Alan, 786-618-1443. Hurricanes beat the Panthers last night 3-1. Cats still have a 3-1 lead in this series. Game 5 will be tomorrow at 8:10. Panthers minus 112 on the money line. The Hurricanes are minus 108 on the money line. The Thunder over the T-Wolves, 128 to 126. Minnesota makes a little charge at the end there, but Oklahoma City is in control. SGA, 40 points, 10 assists. Jalen Williams had 34 points, 5 assists, 3 steals. Ant-Man only had 16 points on 13 shots, 5 of 13, 1 of 7 from three-point range. He had 6 rebounds, but he also had 5 turnovers. So Ant-Man's got to be special, dude. If he's not special, they got no shot against OKC. And right now, looks like they're done 3-1 right now, man. I don't know how the Wolves come back from this one. Game 5 will be on Wednesday, and OKC is favored by 8.5 at home. The over and under is 220.5. T-Wolves plus 270 on the money line. OKC minus 340 on the money line. So you know what Vegas is thinking about that one. Sunday, the Knicks defeated the Pacers 106 to 100. Indy still has a 2-1 lead. Cat led the way with 24 points, 15 rebounds. And Brunson, by the way, had 23 points, but he didn't shoot well, didn't even finish the game. He hasn't really played well in this series, to be quite honest. But they were able to survive and win. We'll see what happens tonight at 8 o'clock. Pacers are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 220.5. Tonight, by the way, Western Conference, Edmonton's leading 2-1. Stars are at the Oilers. The Oilers are minus 166 on the money line. The Stars are plus 140. Inter Miami, they come back to play to a 3-3 draw. They were trailing 3-1 to Philadelphia, and they picked up the draw 3-3. Wednesday, they take on Montreal at Chase Stadium, and Saturday, they take on Columbus at 7:30. So the old men have to play 2 games in 1 week. That's going to be pretty bad for them. They are hanging on to the 7th spot in the playoffs. This is a pathetic group. Messi, he doesn't give a shit because it's a money grab, but man, sad. Anyway, Birmingham Legion beat Miami FC on Saturday 2-1. Saturday, they'll take on FC Naples. And Fort Lauderdale United kept their playoff hopes alive, baby. They beat Dallas Trinity FC 1-0. So now there are 3 teams tied for the last playoff spot. Fort Lauderdale, Spokane, and Dallas. So Saturday, Fort Lauderdale's at Spokane at 9 o'clock, wouldn't you know? And then Dallas is taking on Carolina Ascent, and that's at 8 o'clock. So we'll see what shakes out of there if Fort Lauderdale United can make the playoffs in their first year there. That would be pretty cool if they can do it. Be pretty awesome because it's not easy in your inaugural year to be one of the top teams in the league. So good shit. Let's hope they can get it done on Saturday. We'll be watching. By the way, you can catch it on Peacock if you want to watch it. All right. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. By the way, Sean, okay, I want you to know now, Sean, if you didn't know this, Sean, Putin is now crazy. He's, according to the orangutan, He's now gone crazy. Okay, breaking news. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that? Did you know? I mean, I didn't know. Guy was a dictator. Didn't know that. Jails his own people. Didn't know that. Kills oligarchs. Had no idea. Attacks countries. Steals their land. He's crazy. Breaking news over the weekend. He doesn't know what's gone on. Yeah. Anyway, just, I thought I'd mention it because it's kind of an interesting story there. Putin is now crazy. Mary Lou Retton, DUI. Did you hear about that? Poor woman went through pneumonia attack that she was like bedridden, almost facing death. She had a GoFundMe page that raised $500,000. By the way, we have a GoFundMe page also to help us get to Spain, so Sean and I can cover the Dolphins in Spain, which is probably going to be the only, the game that we really look forward to. I don't know. I look forward to this season. But anyway, she raised over $500,000 because obviously she's Mary Lou Retton. She's like, she was America's sweetheart. And they caught her with influence of alcohol, controlled substances, or drugs. So now people are wondering if she took the money and started going crazy with it and all that good stuff. Man, rough stuff, man. That is rough. Sweet Baby Ray says, I still can't get over Justice Winslow over Devon Booker. The Heat mantra did us wrong there. Winslow dropped because he had no offensive game. Booker was 19-year-old sharpshooter. Yeah, it's the whole, and listen, a lot of us loved Winslow. I had no problem. I was thinking, he's an all-around player and he's a good defender. You make him a little better offensive player and all that. But you have to evolve. You have to see what's going on. And it's just one mistake after another. And then they're getting behind the wrong players. And that's something that I have seen for several years now with it when it comes to Bam and Tyler. It's not what you have as a lead. Dolphin Dave says, Dolphins just don't get it that running the ball. Dolphins Dave just doesn't get it. He too is young. The Ravens won the Super Bowl with Trent. Yeah. With Trent and Flacco. Okay? With Trent, it was all defense and the running game. With Flacco, it was the passing game, a little bit of running and a little bit of defense. Because the defense wasn't great, but it was serviceable. And the running game was good too, but Flacco was also awesome and he could pass. At that moment, he was on fire. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions throughout that entire playoff run. So, yeah. It's ridiculous how the Dolphins for 40 years don't see what's going on. And really, it hasn't changed in football. You still got to run the ball. If you cannot run the ball at will, there's a good chance. And especially with this kind of quarterback, you got no chance at winning. Dude, with Peyton Manning, he couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards, but they could run and play defense. The guy had no arm, not the Colts championship. I'm talking about the Denver championship. And the Colts championship with Peyton, they got the LSU kid to run the ball, and he had a hell of a year running the ball. And then they got Dungy, who bettered their defense. It wasn't about the passing was the same. But Mike McDaniel doesn't understand these things. Okay, neither did Don Shula, by the way. What the hell? Don Shula, his personnel people used to understand it. He never really understood it. I have a new name for the team introducing the 2025 LOL Fins. Yeah, laughing out loud Fins, pretty much. Yeah. LMAFO, really. But yeah. Two of them might be more like Phil Simms. It's all the same Cosa Nostra. Phil Simms, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. These are all statues, bro. They're all statues. None of them were ever going to beat you with their legs. What did you have? Otis Anderson, a hell of a defense, and a hell of an offensive line. Oh, my God, that offensive line was awesome. Shit. Jim Burt was on that line. That was a great offensive line, dude. You kidding me? Got to have an offensive line, got to have a dominant running game when you have these kind of quarterbacks. So, I don't know, man. You get tired of seeing the same mistakes over and over again. And that's what I've watched with the Dolphins for 4 decades. The same effing mistake over and over again. John Padilla, thank you, sir. Checking in from San Mateo, California. Jamie Zoria in the house in San Jose. Hope you had a great weekend and a great week, sir. Thank you. There'll be no Gators logo, Frankie. No Gators, no Seminole logo here. No. That won't happen. There's no chance. Ever. Never. I'll be dead. And it still won't be here. Okay? So, no shot. No shot for Florida. No shot for FSU. I bleed only one. University of Miami. That's it. Actually, you know what? I'd put up a little FIU love because my daughter and my wife graduated from FIU, and I don't have any ill will against FIU, to be quite honest. I wish they would have more success. You know what I mean? I feel bad that they had a terrible person that's been part of that place forever and has kept them completely behind, but whatever. That's a whole other conversation. Pat in Asheville says, GoFundMe, and she drives a Porsche. You think if anyone could ace the field sobriety test? Yeah, but man, when you're stoned, you're stoned. There's no way. You're not going to be able to do it. Brett says, Big O, when you get a chance, check out Dustin by Fulgen's greatest NHL hits, a.k.a. Big Buff. He was a huge 6'5", 270-pound defenseman, wrecking ball Hulk, that is, who didn't just body check, he destroyed. Okay. Let me write that down. Dustin, what the hell? By Fungians? No N. Fuglians. Dustin by Fuglians. It's almost as bad as Alzagari. Jesus Christ. Damn. I mean, Alzagari is bad, but that one's close. I got to say. Edrin James was a beast. Yes, he was. But he left the year they got Joseph Adai from LSU. They drafted Joseph Adai, and then he goes and he was fantastic that year. I want to say he averaged like 4.5 yards a carry or something like that. And then Edge took the money to go to the Cards, which I get it, but wow, dude. Dungy gets there. You're going to leave when you've established everything and you left because of money and then you didn't get your title. Like, that sucks, dude. Like, that money was not worth it. Whatever extra money you were making from Arizona over Indianapolis was a terrible decision on Edrin James' part. I mean, Edge was naturally cheap. So he was going to have his money anyway. All of them. He probably still has money from like his first big contract that he signed after his first 4-year deal. He probably still has a lot of that money left over. Not the deals that came after. No. Edge was super frugal. From what I understand, like the only time he would make like any kind of expenditure might be something to help his family, obviously, but to help kids. There, especially in the Immokalee, Belglade, because where I was born, it's Belglade, Immokalee, and what's the third one? Because there's like 3 little cities that are right under Lake Okeechobee. It's Immokalee, Belglade, and somebody help me out, please. God, you got to remember every stupid little detail. And so much talent comes out of it. That's why I was saying that, like, I don't know why I was born there. I got no talent. But anyway, so I know he's done stuff for kids there, and that I think it's Immokalee where he's from. I think. Is it South Bay? Doesn't sound right, but you might be right. But you probably, I don't know. Check it out for me there, Sean. What's the triangle there with Apopka? How come I'm thinking now Apopka? No, it's not. Maybe it's South Bay. Maybe he's right. I think Apopka is not the one. I'm wrong there. Probably wrong there. Anyway. Yeah, bad decision on Edge's part. Oh, my God. Terrible. His last name was, pronounced Buffin? Okay. Oh, Pahokee. I think that's it. Pahokee. So it's Pahokee, Immokalee, and Belglade. Is that what it is? I think that's the triangle. You know how much talent has come out of there, dude? Louis Oliver, Santonio Holmes. Oh, my God. It is ridiculous, the amount of people that have come out of that area. Dolphin Dave says the worst thing that happened to Shula, he had Marino that made him blind. No. He tried. No, dude, he tried with Sammy Smith and David Overstreet and all that. It didn't work. He just didn't build up enough of a line, and he didn't dedicate himself to the running game. Even when he failed, he would give up on it quickly, too. What failed Shula was Shula. Once he lost Beathard and Thomas and Young, he sucked. Let's just be honest, bro. He sucked at personnel. He was horrible. Okay? Absolutely horrible in personnel. So that's the real issue there. By the way, the Big Cheese, great supporters of our program. Go to bigcheesemiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Gary and all the great people out there. It started over 40 years ago with Billy and Gary. We just lost Billy a little over almost 2 months ago now. And obviously it's been devastating for all of us in the Big Cheese and UM community because Billy was, the rock there. And Gary and Billy created this amazing institution called bigcheesemiami.com. The food is so delectable, so delicious. The people are so pleasant. It's really a great atmosphere, family atmosphere. Employees have been there for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. It is ridiculous. And the memories are all over the walls. memories for the last 40 years. So get on down there, man. The pasta's shipped from Italy, cooked fresh daily, and family servings. You go to these other places, all they're doing is charging you more and giving you less. Well, that's not how it goes there. Okay? They're still giving you a ton at an incredibly reasonable price. Go check out the menu, go visit them, and try those garlic rolls, which are to die for. You're going to love them. BigCheeseMiami.com. All right. Shula didn't learn how to develop to free agency. Players motivated by money changing the game. Shula didn't know how to deal with the money. Oh, yeah, that was the back end of it. Yes. He sucked at free agency, too. Yeah. that it is what it is, man. We got to live that over and over again. It sucks to have to live it over and over again, to be quite honest, but it's kind of where we're at. I get it. I understand it. But it's part of our frustrations and why we've dealt with it for so many years. Remember, you can make a donation. Cash App, Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation too, which we always appreciate that. Thank you all out there as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me get to a little music. Oh, you know what? I do have a Dolphins topic I got to get to also. So let me do a little music real quick, and then I'll get to my Dolphins topic that I wanted to share with you all today. Let's go with reporters, with musicians born on this date, May 27th. Andre 3000, Andre Benjamin, rapper, singer, songwriter, Outkast, born in 75. Lisa Left Eye Lopes, rest in peace, born in 1971. Unfortunately, we lost a fire starter in a car accident in 2002 at the age of 30. Let's see. Sean Kinney, drummer and co-founder of Alice in Chains, born in my year, 1966. Neil Finn, stud, guitar vocalist from the New Zealand group Split Enz. And of course, also Crowded House, born in 1958. Let's see. Susie and the Banshees, Susie Sue, or Susan Janet Ballion, born in 1957. She is so awesome. I love her music. She is fantastic. Who else celebrating birthdays today? Rudy Lewis from the R&B group The Drifters, born in 1935, the doo-wop group for us older folks out there. And that is musicians born on this date. Let's go with other famous people born on this date of May 27th. Hubert Humphrey, former U.S. Vice President, longtime U.S. Senator, born in 1911. If I don't say the age, that means they're no longer with us. Actor Vincent Price, born in 1911. Christopher Lee, the actor, born in 1922. Pretty interesting to have Vincent Price and Christopher Lee born on the same date. Did not know that. Henry Kissinger, U.S. Secretary, was born in 1923. Actor Lee Merriweather, Barnaby Jones, damn, dude, born 1935. She's 90. God bless her. Louis Gossett Jr., born in 1936. Richard Schiff, the actor, West Wing, might be one of the places you might remember him from. 55. He is 70 years old today. Adam Carolla, the comedian, born in 64. He's 61. Todd Bridges, born in 65. He is 60. Jadakiss was in musicians, born in 75. He is 50 today. Actor model Lily Rose Depp, born in 99. She is 26. That's a long list of birthdays today. Sean Stanley, sir, do you have any wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir. Eric Bischoff turned 70, and Natalia, she turns 43. Those are your birthdays for May 27th, 2025.
All right. Let's see. Can we move on to music history? May not be able to move on to music history. Okay. Page I saved is no longer saved there. See if I can find it. Anyway, Dolphins starting their silly OTAs and mini camps and all that good stuff. I was preparing for the show, and one of the things that I saw was Coach Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator and your future head coach. I say by week 10. I'm going to say I think it happens on week 10, but it could happen before because Mike McDaniel sucks. So it could happen. But your next head coach, Anthony Weaver, they were asking him about the Jalen Ramsey situation. And he goes, in this game, things change by the day. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Ramsey. He played very good ball for us, but relationships are hard. Both sides have mutually chosen to go the other way. I respect that and wish him nothing but the best. When you know you have the wrong people coaching your team, okay, or for those of you that are anti-Chris Grier, the wrong GM hiring coaches, you've seen a common denominator. You hire Flo, he alienates Minkah Fitzpatrick. Okay, so you now hire Mike McDaniel, and he alienates Jalen Ramsey, and others, by the way. He's alienated. I mean, the part with Flo was that the team wasn't nearly as advanced, and there were a lot of youngins and all that kind of stuff. So there wasn't a lot of that like there is now. And a lot of veterans are looking at this guy going, this is not the coach, bro. This guy's not the answer. Get the hell out of here with that shit. And then Ramsey, it's so bad that Ramsey said, I don't care that you paid me. I don't care. I'm going to make it impossible. I cannot be coached by that guy anymore. I'm not playing for that dude anymore. It's got to be frustrating for any assistant coach that your head coach is effing up your situation and making it worse. Whether it's the last head coach making it worse for your front office, because Minkah Fitzpatrick wasn't a bad player. It wasn't like he couldn't play or anything like that. So you had to get rid of him for no reason. And the guy you replaced him with also then got turned off by the organization and wanted out, even though you were going to let him go anyways because the play had declined. Something happened. I say those 2 knee injuries took a toll on him, and he wasn't himself. I bet you he becomes himself this year. Not that it'll help that team because it's not going anywhere. The Giants aren't going anywhere. But still, you alienated a lot of players. This has got to suck. You can't build a culture. You can't build a winning organization. You can't build certain elements of your team. You can't hang on to the same head coach. And you keep hiring head coaches that don't know how to actually reach everyone. Strange. Weaver's just saying what he's supposed to say, but he's mother effing this whole thing. With Jalen Ramsey, at least he could coach where he could leave one side and say, okay, well, Jalen will help me out here with this guy. I got to worry more about the safeties and then the other corners. But at least Jalen will help me out. He doesn't even have that now. He has no safety blanket anywhere in that secondary. Dolphins got to do a better job of reaching their players too. Reaching all of them. Ridiculous. Anyway, Big O, what's there to do in Belle Glade? I lived there for 6 months of my life, bro. So I don't know what to tell you. A lot of Cubans in the 50s and 60s go there to work because there's a lot of sugarcane fields. I know you make a smiley face, Derek, but actually it's an agricultural town is what it is. It's a very poor to low middle class type of area. And it's a place that you probably don't want to live in, Derek, because there's not a lot going on there. But a lot of Haitians now live there because a lot of them that come here, they've worked in sugarcane fields, and they go there and they work, the sugarcane and different fruits and different things that they grow in that area. But the Cubans back in the day, they flocked there. My dad was Cuban, and you were able to get work there at that time. So that's what was going on. It was a place that people went to survive. And that's what Belle Glade is. A place where you just try to survive, my brother. That's all it is. Ricky says, do you think the Florida Panthers will close it out in Game 5? Yes. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, Ricky. You can rewind, and a lot of it is there. But, yes, I expect them to close out Game 5, and I explained it. Kosa, I'm really excited about Daniels and Savanaya manning the interior of the Dolphins O-line. Let's hope that they stick to the running game and establish it. Yep. Fangio had balls and said, you're playing my way. He did a good job overall, bro. He didn't communicate with certain guys, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. He wanted to do things his way, and his way has always worked. Remember I told you about Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett, now that he's retiring, told people, well, if you're 40 or under, you should invest in a little Bitcoin. But for years, he kept poo-pooing it. He's full of shit. I don't care that he's the greatest investor of all time or considered it or whatever. Warren Buffett is full of shit when it comes to Bitcoin. But Warren Buffett has an agenda. Most of his money was tied up with banks. So he doesn't want to see Bitcoin rise and have success. Now he said it on his way out. And he said it like a weak bullshit about, oh, if you're under 40. Bullshit, any age. Fiat currency's failing everywhere. But why does he say that? Why does Charlie Munger say it? Why does what's this other idiot Peter Schiff? Well, because they've already made their beds. So they don't want to tell you that the banks are or that gold is outdated. They don't want to tell you that. So they're going to defend their spot because they want you to continue keeping them on the high end. But they're not being honest. They don't have to. They're made already. The way they do it, it works for them. The way Fangio does, it works for him. Why the hell should he change? So that's what was going on. No big deal. It is what it is. Either way, whatever has gone on with coaching, it has not worked out here. And that's been the ultimate failure of everything because it's created more chaos and created more changes that didn't have to be made. And it's kind of set them back. And that's what happens when you're unstable at the coaching position. And they continue to be unstable. And that's why Weaver will end up becoming your coach at one point or another this season. Big O, I knew something was missing Where is Alarmo? You know, he if you notice, it's only during football season he comes out. During football season, he comes out. So he's sitting here in front of me. Okay. In fact, they're sitting in front of me. So there you go. But we bring them out during football season. That's why. They rest during football season. They go hang out and have some fun and run around the house and things like that. Toy Story style and, you know. So that's kind of the way it works. But, yeah, football season, they return to the perch. On the road, in studio, all of that. And they're still here. I mean, Loman's always is here. They're always with us. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. If they're in your state, tell them that Big O sent you. You'll get a free doorbell camera when you sign up. So take advantage. 1-800-ALARM-ME. You'll love it. What else? I thought he was exaggerating, and then I looked up the videos. That place sucks. The difference between a coach that has balls and a coach GM like Greer and McDaniel that don't. Mao, maybe the problem is that both coach GM don't know how to work and communicate well. If Weaver does become the head coach, are the players and organization willing to go through what growing pains, by the way? It's 40 years, bro. There's no growing pains. You make it sound like they get somewhere, actually. How about them figuring it out for once? There's no growing pains anymore or nothing like that. It's, hey, can you guys figure out how to win for once in your lives? That's all. Hey, Shula, can you figure out how to be like a winning team when it matters? Or does your Marino-led teams always have to choke like a fucking dog? I don't know. You tell me. Jimmy Johnson, you're going to figure out how to win, or you're going to look like a piece of crap every time the playoffs roll around? Wanstead, you're going to figure out how to win, or whenever you get to the playoffs, you're just going to shit the bed? And then after that, it became, we'll make the playoffs every 8 years. How about learning how to get it done right once and for all? That's what I'd like. I'd like for Shula and for Jimmy and for Wanstead and for Flo and for Gase and for Mike McDaniel to stop being choking, folding, soft-ass dogs. Because even Flo, that year that he got on a winning streak, he won against all the shit teams. And he lost at the beginning of the year against all the tough teams that year. Nothing changed. Nothing changed for Mr. Tough Guy. They're all the same. Doesn't matter if it's Shula, and it doesn't matter if it's Mike McDaniel. They all produce the same shit. A soft-ass team that can't run the ball, that gets punched in the mouth and gets constantly pushed around. Who gives a shit that Marino lights it up or that Ricky lights it up literally and also runs well? Or that Tyreek has back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons. Oh, wow, that's so entertaining. What did it get you? Nothing. Why? Because you can't bring the lunch pail. You can't do what men do. You push the other guy around, and you force your will on them. The Dolphins, for 40 years, the will gets imposed on them. That's why every big moment Marino ever had ended in a shitstorm, ended in embarrassment. It was never close. It was an embarrassment. Buffalo in the early 90s, an embarrassment. San Francisco, an embarrassment. Jimmy Johnson's playoff runs with him, an embarrassment. That's all. Choking, soft-ass teams, bro. That's what the Dolphins have been for 40 effing years, dude. How about getting it right for once? What growing pains, bro? What are you talking about, D-Mal? What the fuck are you talking about for 40 years? All it is pain for 40 years, not growing pains. If you grow, that means you're actually getting somewhere. These people get nowhere every year, no matter who it is. Growing pains. Give me a break. That's like the people that are waiting for a great season this year. Really? From that coach? Give me a break. Growing pains. Big O, how many croquetas do you think Kenneth Grant can eat in 1 hour? Oh, God. Hundreds. I don't know. I'll go with 100. It's a lot. I say it happens by week 2. Wow, today I learned that 80% of the world's population have never flown on a plane. For real? Wow. They should keep it that way, the way flying is going on right now. They're better off. So, you know. Weaver will be a great head coach. Hopefully he can hire a good OC and staff. Well, he's a young coach. It's hard to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. Did I see that comedian Ari Spears and Caitlin can ball and Angel Reese is hot garbage? I don't know. Well, Angel Reese, her offensive game is hot garbage. Yeah, there's no doubt. She's a joke when it comes to offense. Yeah. And she's a joke that she thinks she's an offensive player when she's offensive. So, yeah. I mean, Angel Reese's ignorance is pretty special. Seriously, it's a delusional state. The best part, no, Frankie, the best part, forget about race. I don't give a shit about that. The best part is the idiots out there that thought Angel Reese was equal or better to Caitlin Clark or means as much to the league or any of that bullshit. That's the best part. Did you see that stat? 26% of all the money spent in the WNBA last year was Caitlin Clark related. 26%. She's got a quad injury, too. She's out for a couple of weeks. Let's see. Ricky lights it up literally. Yeah, well, I mean, we had to point that out. You know what I'm saying, Lenny? We got to point that out. We got to be correctamundo. Belgrade is the shadow of a very poor country, but it looks better than what it used to. Yeah, I would say that I've gone through it a couple times over the years. Definitely. I cruised by the house I lived in when I was a child, a baby. My dad showed it to me, so I know where it's at. We're close to the hospital, too. We're pretty close to the hospital. Let's see what else. Adolfo, thank you for the super chat. It says, Big O Radio Show, your background is McD got fire and you have hopium back. I don't have any hopium. I got no hopium. No hopium. Not for the Dolphins. There's no hopium whatsoever. We're headed for a bad season. We're headed for probably no playoffs and a coaching change. No doubt in my mind. That's the way I'm expecting it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we have a great season. I hope this idiot figures out how to be a head coach, but I think he's as lost as anybody else we've had, pretty much. So, Dolphin 13 says, I had bad nightmares last night. I was playing for the Miami Dolphins. Spooky, man. That means we keep losing, Dolphin 13. What's wrong with you, bro? We don't want you on the team. We love you, but we don't want you on the team. We don't need you on the team. But we love you here on this team, not playing for the Dolphins. Plus, we want you to stay alive. It's a good chance you'll die if you go there. By the way, if you're looking for a great vehicle, you can visit my friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. They're at 16100 Pines Boulevard. And tell them that Big O sent you, whether you see Eric Stampone out there, sales manager, good dude out there. Alan is the general manager, by the way. If you see Alan, say hi. Tell him that Big O sent you. Thomas Pierre is also out there. Brian Medina, Samuel Williams, some great people out there. Please go check it out at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. They've got some great deals going on right now. The Solterra, you can take advantage. It's one of my favorite vehicles. It's one of the ones I'm looking for in 2026. Well, the 2025 model right now, you can get the premium for $297 with 0% down and 0% financing for 72 months. How about the Forester? You can get the base for $257 a month, 3.9% financing. The Outback base, $247 a month, 2.9% financing. The Crosstrek base, $237 a month, 3.9% financing. The Ascent Premium, by the way, the Ascent Premium, $317 a month, 3.9% financing. Check out the entire selection of Subaru vehicles and, of course, a great service center. Tell them that Big O sent you. Go see Eric Stampone. Tell him that that O sent you, and trust me, he will take it. He's a big Panthers fan. He loves talking Panthers. They're at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. John, my day is going great because I started it off with you all out here, and I always love doing this show for you all. And I apologize for not doing the show on Monday, but we did a show for you on Saturday night. Even had a Dolphins rant in there and everything. Actually, there was some other Dolphins talk and other throughout the, because it was kind of like, I treated it like a post game, but also kind of a little bit of a sports talk show. I didn't get into other stuff like I do on this show, that I'll be able to talk about anything and everything on the planet, and I don't care. Yeah, so that's why we didn't do Monday. Plus, it was Memorial Day, and let's take it easy. Sean deserves the day off and all that good stuff. He works hard enough as it is. So all good in the hood, as they say. All right, folks, we're out of here. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank David Furones, as always. You can check out those interviews, rewind, whatever. Sean will be posting the audio, the video of that, and whatever rants we went on today. He'll be posting that too. We appreciate all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked and supporting us, however it is you support us, with a like, with a donation, visiting our amazing sponsors. We appreciate it all. We cannot do it without you, and we cannot do it without all of those kind of elements, or if not, without our great sponsors, without your support, we're done. So we appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. I can do it again. Same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.